Hi guys, 2 years later and I'm back to give you a little bit of an update and a summary on my expander and braces experience. I know it's been a long time and everyone's been asking about posting updates, but I honestly didn't document as much as I thought I was going to for this. I'll have to dig up some pictures that I did take and maybe some videos I have here and there of when I did have my braces and the expander on, just to kind of see what my experience was with that. I'll try to find them and post when I do get to it. But just to kind of give a brief summary of my whole experience. For those that did follow, I got my Palatal expander in March of 2017. For my first video, it looks pretty god-awful, so I'm sorry for that. But honestly, looking back, it really wasn't that bad. Maybe the first 2 weeks were hard to get used to. It was hard to eat. It was hard to speak. My tongue was hurting. I had sores in my mouth. But after that, you kind of get used to it. Just with anything that's uncomfortable, you just kind of have to get used to it. And I did. So I had the expander. I had to expand it once every 5 days for about 3 months. And then in the summer, I ended up having both the expander and my braces on. I had a mouthful of metal, but like I said, it wasn't that bad. After I got used to the expander, getting the braces on was a walk in the park. It was like nothing. I did get a little bit of cuts on like the inside of my lip and stuff, but that's normal with anything. I think I have one video where I do have the braces on. So I did go with the ceramic brackets. I personally like them more just because my age, I'm a little bit older and going out and stuff, I kind of cared a little bit more about what it looked like, but honestly, it really didn't matter. A lot of adults ended up having, when you do get them, you kind of notice them a little bit more on other people. There are a lot of people with braces out there that are in their 20s, 30s, and even older than that are doing traditional braces and not just Invisalign. So like I said, I had the ceramic brackets. Looking back, I do think I probably should have just done like all metal on the bottom. I like to eat a lot of things I'm not supposed to, or I did when I had the braces, so I broke my brackets a few times. So I ended up getting some on, I think it was this side, replaced with metal ones anyways, so I should have just done that from the beginning, but I did like the ceramic ones for the top. If you do get that, I don't recommend using the clear bands with it. I did end up switching to like a light blue, because the clear bands turn yellow really quick. So if you like spaghetti, pizza, red sauce, anything with color, strawberries, berries, it changes the color of the clear band, so it ends up looking yellow and gross, so they look dirty. So I would recommend, if you do get like the clear ceramic brackets, to do like a light color that kind of goes with skin tone. It kind of makes it look more neutral, makes your teeth look a little bit better than having yellow around it. People definitely did notice when they started to turn yellow. So I'd only do that if I had like a wedding or important event. I would have my orthodontist switch it to the clear band so you wouldn't see them as much. But besides that, expander I had for about 9 months. Definitely longer than I thought it was going to be. I didn't realize that after you were done expanding it that it had to stay in for a long time. I don't know if that's consistent across the board. Like kids might get it out sooner or something. So I had my expander in February. I didn't get it out till December. It's kind of like my Christmas present from my dentist. She cut that thing out for me. So it was nice to just have the braces. My mouth felt huge after I was done with that. It was really different eating, but I did kind of miss it. I'm like, oh, I got so used to it. I got like a technique down with getting the food out under it. So you'll kind of get used to that too. So after getting used to that, I'm like, oh, this is nice. But I was like, oh, but I was finally, like, it was just there. So it's really not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I know my first video I posted, it looked god-awful because the first 2 weeks probably were, but just like with anything that's uncomfortable, you just got to get used to it. So it really wasn't that bad. So I ended up having the braces themselves for about 2 years or so. I got them off this past May 2019. Right before I was a bridesmaid at my friend's wedding, which was pretty nice. So nice to get them off. I think I do still have a little bit of like cement somewhere in the back, but it's not a big deal. But it really wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So overall, it took about 2 years. Don't let that discourage you when your orthodontist or dentist, when they recommend braces, they're like, oh, it's going to take 2 years. It went by so fast. Like it flew by. I didn't realize it had already been 2 years by the time I got them off. They were a part of me. I was so used to it. I liked getting my colors changed when I did do it. It was just like something new. My friends got used to it. They're like, oh yeah, you do have braces. It's not something people will really pay that much attention to, as much as you think they will. I know a lot of people comment like, oh, I have a job, I'm an adult. People might say something, or I'm going to sound funny, but no one seemed to really care. If you kind of preface a conversation when you do get the expander, like, hey, I have an expander, I'm going to have a lisp, sorry about it. Like, then they'll probably tell you about how they had braces in high school and how their experience was. So it's more of a conversation starter than anything. So don't worry about that if that's something that you're concerned with. Other concerns, or does it hurt? It didn't hurt to expand. The only things is getting cuts on your tongue, but you kind of figure out how to get yourself used to it, putting wax up there. I know some people had talked about like tongue guards or something that you can get. I found that the wax worked pretty well for me. I ended up probably eating a lot of wax because when you would eat, it'd probably fall out, but it is what it is. So it's more comfortable in the meantime. So wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I know looking back, I'm like, dang, I made it look really awful in that first month. So I'm sorry for that. It really took 2-3 weeks to get used to. And then the braces were really quick to get used to. I will recommend that eating soft foods after you get your wire changed the first like day or so. That's the only time it was sore. Cleaning wise, keeping your braces as clean as you can is the best thing you can do. It'll prevent you from getting white spots on your teeth. I'm a dental hygienist, so I see that often with like teenagers that don't take care of their teeth. They hate brushing, they have plaque everywhere, and by the time that they get their braces off, they have cavities, or they just have these like white spots because the plaque's going to take those minerals out of your tooth and leave these white spot lesions that don't look great around your brackets. So definitely keep it clean. Get an electric toothbrush, a water pick. Try your best to use those floss threaders or super floss. It's definitely worth it. I kind of got that routine down to a T. Even after you brush, floss, make sure you water pick because there's going to be something hidden there regardless, especially if you have the expander. Make sure you shoot that up, the water pick up there, and get everything out, or else it's just hanging out. You'll have bad breath and all. That's not fun. But besides that, I'll try to post pictures of the kind of progression of it. I think I took more of that than videos of my experience, so I'll try to find those and then post them in the comments whenever I can. I think that it was a quick, easy experience. I'm very happy with the results. Everyone that thinks that a year sounds like a long time, it really isn't. Those 2 years flew by, and even now I'm like, oh yeah, I had braces, but I'm so happy with where my teeth are now that if I decided not to do it 2 years ago and I would be here today being like, I wish I had just done the braces, because then I'd be done by now. So just go ahead and do it. I have a couple friends that would always ask me about their braces. They're doing theirs and kind of going through the process too. So it's not as bad as you think it's going to be. Some cases are tougher than others, and everyone's different in their experience. I know a lot of people always ask like, oh, what happened with here? What happened with this? But my experience will be different than your experience. I know I've had patients come in that are, teenagers that have their expander, or they're like, oh, I had that when I was younger, but it only took me a week to get used to, and it didn't hurt, blah, blah, blah. But who knows? Everyone's experience is going to be different. But I'm definitely glad I did it. I wear my retainer every night. I have both the Invisalign style ones that are the plastic ones that cover all of your teeth, and I have the pink acrylic ones, so I kind of flip-flop them depending on my stress level. If I'm going to grind my teeth, I'll wear, if I think I'll grind my teeth, I'll wear the Invisalign one, so I have coverage on the top. All the orthodontists will probably recommend something different as far as retainers go. I know a lot of ones that I've seen are doing more of the Invisalign style ones, which I like because it covers all of your teeth. The pink ones are fine, but if you do find that you're grinding your teeth, it's not doing much protection there. The permanent ones, everyone's like, oh, then I don't have to worry about it, but they get so dirty. I see patients that have them all the time since they were teenagers, and I spend so much time cleaning them. They're too lazy to floss them at home. So if you think you're going to be diligent about it, great. And if your orthodontist recommends that, sure, why not? But a lot of times you see them break, you get stuff stuck around them, and then you're at more risk for gingivitis or gum disease in those areas. So I just like the ones I wear at nighttime. Just wear them. It's not that hard. Yeah, so if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask me. I'll try to get back to my comments as soon as possible. Again, I'm sorry it took so long for me to update. I hope this was a little bit helpful for anyone that's watching them now and wondering how everything went towards the end. Like I said, wasn't that bad. 2 years flew by. The expander you get used to, braces you get used to, you'll get used to having cuts and sores. It is what it is. And then you end up with great results. I'm really happy with mine. I'll try to post some pictures and answer any questions you guys might have. Thanks.